The Improvement of the Mind by Isaac Watts. 8. Do not hover always on the surface of things, nor take up suddenly with mere appearances, but penetrate into the depth of matters as far as your time and circumstances allow, especially in those things which relate to your own profession. Do not indulge yourself to judge of things by the first glimpse, or a short and superficial view of them, for this will fill the mind with errors and prejudices, and give it a wrong turn and ill habit of thinking, and make much work for retraction. Subito is carried away with title pages, so that he ventures to pronounce upon a large octavo at once, and to recommend it wonderfully when he has read half the preface. Another volume of controversies of equal size was discarded by him at once, because it pretended to treat of the Trinity, and yet he could neither find the word essence nor subsistences in the 12 first pages. But Subito changes his opinions of men and books and things so often that nobody regards him. As for those sciences, or those parts of knowledge which either your profession, your leisure, your inclination, or your incapacity forbid you to pursue with much application, or to search far into them, you must be contented with an historical and superficial knowledge of them, and not pretend to form many judgments of your own on those subjects which you understand very imperfectly. 9. Once a day, especially in the early years of life and study, call yourselves to an account, and consider what new ideas, what new propositions or truth you have gained, what further confirmation of known truths, and what advances you have made in any part of knowledge. And, if possible, let no day pass away without some intellectual gain. Such a course, well pursued, must certainly advance us in useful knowledge. It is a wise proverb among the learned, borrowed from the lips and practice of a celebrated painter, nulla die sine linea. Let no day pass without one line at least. And it was a sacred rule among the Pythagoreans that they should every evening thrice run over the actions and affairs of the day, and examine what their conduct had been, what they had done, or what they had neglected. And they assured their pupils that by this method they would make a noble progress in the path of virtue. Nor let soft slumber close your eyes before you've recollected thrice the train of actions through the day. Where have my feet chose out the way? What have I learned? Where have I been? From all I've heard, from all I've seen, what know I more? What's that's worth the knowing? What have I done that's worth the doing? What have I sought that I should shun? What duty have I left undone? Or into what new follies run? These self-inquirers are the road that leads to virtue and to God. I would be glad among a nation of Christians to find young men heartily engaged in the practice of what this heathen writer teaches. 10. Maintain a constant watch at all times against a dogmatic spirit. Fix not your assent to any proposition in a firm and unalterable manner till you have some firm and unalterable ground for it, nor till you have arrived at some clear and sure evidence, till you have turned the proposition on all sides and searched the matter through and through, so that you cannot be mistaken. And even where you may think you have full grounds of assurance, be not too early nor too frequent in expressing this assurance in too peremptorily and positive a manner, remembering that human nature is always liable to mistake in this corrupt and feeble state. A dogmatic spirit has many inconveniences attending it, as it stops the ear against all further reasoning upon that subject, and shuts up the mind from all further improvements of knowledge. If you have resolutely fixed your opinion, though it be upon too slight and insufficient grounds, yet you will stand determined to renounce the strongest reason brought for the contrary opinion and grow obstinate against the force of the clearest argument. Positivo is a man of this character, and has often pronounced his assurance of the Cartesian vortexes. Last year, some further light broke in upon his understanding with uncontrollable force by reading something of mathematical philosophy. Yet, having asserted his former opinions in a most confident manner, he is tempted now to wink a little against the truth, or to prevaricate in his discourse upon the subject, lest by admitting conviction he should expose himself to the necessity of confessing his former folly and mistake, and he has not humility enough for that. Also, a dogmatic spirit naturally leads us to arrogance, and gives a man some airs of conversation which are too haughty and assuming. Audens is a man of learning and very good company, but his infallible assurance renders his carriage sometimes insupportable. As well, a dogmatic spirit inclines a man to be censorious. Every one of his opinions appears to him written, as it were, with sunbeams, and he grows angry that his neighbor does not see it in the same light. He is tempted to disdain his correspondents as men of low and dark understanding, because they will not believe what he does. Furio goes further in this wild track, and charges those who refuse his notions with willful obstinacy and vile hypocrisy. He tells them boldly that they resist the truth and sin against their consciences. These are the men that, when they deal in controversy, delight in reproaches. They abound in tossing about absurdity and stupidity among their brethren. They cast the imputation of heresy and nonsense plentifully upon their antagonists, and in matters of sacred importance they deal out their anathemas in abundance upon Christians better than themselves. They denounce damnation upon their neighbors without either justice or mercy, and when they pronounce sentences of divine wrath against supposed heretics, they add their own human fire and indignation. A dogmatist in religion is not a great way off from a bigot, and is in high danger of growing up to be a bloody persecutor.